Hello. Um, I posted that picture on Facebook a couple of days ago, and I guess I just wanted to talk a bit about what it actually means to me. Um, I think if I start with when I was younger and I didn't know what depression was, and so I'd kind of made up my mind that it must have been this sort of heavy blackness where you just cried and were miserable and sad all the time. Um, which is why I probably missed my own depression or the signs of it. And what I sort of discovered is that actually it's not black and it's not powerful as such. It's a sort of a grey for me. Um, and it just covers everything. It's this blanket where everything is grey around you and you don't see any directions, and you don't know where to go or how to go there or anything like that. And it ends up sort of leaving you with not so much a strength of ill feeling, but a lack of feeling altogether. There's no happy, there's no sad, there's just nothing. And I didn't discover that until, I think I've had depression all of my memorable life, but I don't think I discovered that it was the grey that I had the problem with, and and I was looking to the black all the time. Um, when I finally sort of realised that I had problems, I didn't, first of all, know what to do about it. Didn't know what it was, didn't know what was causing the trouble. And then there's a couple of things you don't do anyway. You don't talk to people because it's a bit of a downer. It's socially we're sort of geared to not talking about these things. But also, I think the most important thing was that I found I couldn't have talked to somebody if I'd wanted to. I didn't have the words. There was no. I didn't have the language. And up to about 2 years ago, I really thought I had a handle on it and that I didn't really need any help. And then around this time, 2 years ago, actually, this is my anniversary, everything just sort of crashed in on me, and I took a massive nosedive, and got to the point where I thought I actually can't go on like this, or my life can't go on like this. And I didn't, because I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know what to do about it. But because I knew I couldn't go on, I thought, well, I'll go to my GP. So I went to my GP, and they just diagnosed me as having depression and anxiety. A 2-for-1, nice. And they prescribed pills, diazepam, which I didn't take because they're apparently a furious pill, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be aware of what was going on. I didn't want to sort of just tranquilize myself. And eventually we settled on a sort of mild serotonin, apparently, replacement. Then, speaking to my GP, I found out that, oddly, though your GP can refer you for certain things, they can't refer you for mental health issues. But what they can do is give you a list of the available services. And so it's at this point that I found out about North East Edinburgh Counselling Services and put my name on the list. They took an absolute age to get on it because they're not surprisingly very busy. And then I eventually got to see a counsellor, and I still didn't have the language. I didn't know how to speak to him. And so the first few sessions were a bit strange and not much came out of them. Other than that, I felt better that I had somewhere to go that was a safe place. But as time went on, we found a rhythm and we got to know each other a bit better, and I felt more comfortable, and more things came out of it. And this is where I refer back to the grey. If you'd asked me 2 years ago to paint how I was feeling, I would have just done a grey canvas. But through counselling, I realised that it wasn't this all-encompassing grey, heavy thing. It was massive things that were so tightly woven together that I didn't know how to unpick them. And so they did become one big thing. Through help with the counsellor, though, I spoke about quite a lot of things. We sort of teased things out, pulled that horrible greyness apart. And the reason the picture isn't a grey, just a grey canvas, is because of that. It's got those things in it, those strands that were too tightly woven for me to pick apart myself. And the one thing I will say about going for counselling is that I did feel that shame. I felt that sort of, why can't I just do this myself? Why do I need help? And I think a lot of us are geared towards feeling like that. Now that I've done it, I wish I'd done it 20 years ago. The help it's given me, the ability to change who I am, or that part of me, into something a bit more constructive has been amazing. So a shout out to them. And 2 years on, I'm still seeing a counsellor, and we're going to better places now. The thing I'm sort of learning is that the greyness isn't me, it's parts of me, and I just need to find more comfortable places for them to live. I don't think the depression will ever go. I don't think it doesn't get cured, I don't think. But now I think I can move those sort of tarnished pieces and put them on display, look at them, work on them. My mental piece of misery, I like to call it. But it means they're not tucked away in the back of my head as one big festering monster. And I suppose the upshot of it is, when I went for counselling and got over all of that bullshit about, being weak or not able to, fix myself, I immediately moved on to better places. And I'm posting this because I didn't have anyone to talk to, because I didn't think it could be talked about. And like I said, I wouldn't have been able to talk about it anyway. But now I can talk about it. I can listen to people talk about it. And if nothing else, this is to highlight the fact that there are people who will listen and will help. And even if you don't yet know your own language, seek it out if you need it. Merry Christmas.